On everybody, it's Key Time coming back with another one to talk about NBA basketball. There was a lot of things that happened over this weekend in the world of basketball. The first thing I want to say is the Milwaukee Bucks still a legitimate title contender? Are the Phoenix Suns, can they make it to the Western Conference Finals? And is the Denver Nuggets in a fortunate spot at the fourth spot? I'm going to get into all of that right now. Now, from what I seen from the Milwaukee Bucks yesterday, obviously they were playing the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia 76ers wasn't at full strength. Joel Embiid, he was hurt. He may come back. He may come back late March or early April. Who knows? That all depends on the procedure that he is getting today. So the Milwaukee Bucks, they had shot attempts. As far as 3-pointers attempted, they had 40 3-point shots attempted and made 22 of them. And this game was literally a blowout. It didn't get to, the game was very, very close at the start. And then in the third quarter, Milwaukee went up 15. And then one point in the fourth quarter where they went up 20. And you see they won by 21. Now, from what I've seen from the Milwaukee Bucks as far as defense, they still have trouble with defense. I'm not just going to say that all of their defensive woes are complete just because they held the 76ers under 100 points. They wasn't at full strength. I need to see what can the Milwaukee Bucks do when they have their opponent is at full strength and everybody, and I do mean everybody, is pitching in on the opponent's side. Because right now, what I seen from the 76ers yesterday, they did what there were times in this game where the 76ers, they had a chance to open up the door and possibly take the lead. But a missed shot here, a missed shot there, a foul here or a foul there, that was the difference. Now, as far as the 3-point mirage that the Milwaukee Bucks did, that didn't come until later on in the fourth quarter. But I still have questions with the Milwaukee Bucks as far as defensively. Offense, that is going to come. But in the playoffs, when you need timely stops, can the Milwaukee Bucks deliver? We will see, and it is remain to be seen whether the Milwaukee Bucks will be able to get timely stops against whoever they play in the playoffs. The next team I want to talk about is the Phoenix Suns. Now, the Phoenix Suns, they are in the 8th spot right now. So there's not too much, they are in the 6th spot now since the Mavericks and the Pelicans lost last night. So the Phoenix Suns are in the 6th spot now. But my concerns with the Phoenix Suns are when they get into the fourth quarter, can they hold a lead? Obviously, there have been many a times where they've had 10, 15-point leads, and in an instant, it's gone. It's a tie game, or the opponent is only down by 3 or 4. Now, as far as bench production, I've been shaky on the Phoenix Suns bench production all season long. From what the stats say, it says that they are scoring 28 points off the bench, but in the playoffs you're going to have to at least score at least 35, if not 40, because in the playoffs, most teams are going to pay attention to your main three guys and have those other players on the floor and the bench beat you. So those are the concerns I have with the Phoenix Suns. As far as Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, we know what we're going to get from them. Now it's time for the bench to step up. Grayson Allen, best three-point shooter in the NBA this season at 61%. Bo, he had a good game. He had 21 points yesterday against the Lakers. And excuse me a minute. And also other bench counterparts. Jusuf Nurkic. Now, he is a big man, but as far as him rebounding the ball, he's okay. But let's say if the Phoenix Suns play a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they have three big guys that can guard the paint. So, Phoenix, they are going to have a tough time in the playoffs when it comes to rebounding, unless they get a favorable matchup in the first or second round. But the Phoenix Suns, worst case scenario for them is getting knocked out of the first round. Best case scenario for them is getting to the Western Conference Finals. That's the best scenario for them. Now that leads into the next team. The next team I want to talk about is the Denver Nuggets, who I think is in a favorable spot no matter where they finish. No matter where they finish in the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets are in a favorable spot. Because one thing, defending champions, they still have Nikola Jokic, the flamethrower himself, Jamal Murray, and then they have that bench led by Aaron Gordon. So, Denver, I'm not worried about them. Obviously, I think that whoever Denver plays, Denver will straight up beat them, no matter what. And it doesn't matter if the Denver Nuggets have home court advantage, because they have shown that they can win on the road. But in this case, if the Denver Nuggets play the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoffs, there's more pressure on the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Oklahoma City Thunder to close the Denver Nuggets out, because you will have home court advantage, and you won't have, if they get to the Western Conference Finals, you won't have to play back to back. You won't have to play. It'll be every 3 days instead of every other day. So, with the Denver Nuggets, I still think that they are the class of the Western Conference. I know what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing, which is great. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he is balling out of control. The Minnesota Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns, he is balling out of control. But this is the regular season. Now, when they get to the playoffs, that's a different story. That's a different story. Now, that's all I got to say for the Denver Nuggets. Now, for the next two teams I'm going to talk about is the LA Clippers and the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings, I've said it throughout the season, young and upcoming team. The Clippers, you have a big four on your hands in Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. James Harden, he has accepted that fourth option role. He is averaging 16 points and 8 assists, like I predicted at the start of the season when the LA Clippers wanted him in a trade. So, is it the Clippers' year? I'm not going to say yes. I still have to see what they are going to do in the playoffs. Because every year with the Clippers. It's this Clippers team is good. This Clippers team is that good. They have in the last 8 years, they've been to the Western Conference. They've been to the Western Conference semis 4 times and lost all 4 times. They haven't gotten to the Western Conference Finals. So I'm not going to say that they're going to get to the Western Conference Finals because that is a big stretch. But what they are doing right now, they maybe, and I do mean maybe, can beat the Denver Nuggets in a 7-game series. That's if they play each other. But from what I'm seeing right now from the Denver Nuggets, nobody can beat the Denver Nuggets coming out of the West. So that's all I have on the LA Clippers. The Sacramento Kings, they've won 3 straight. Last week, they were at the 8th spot. But just like I said, it's crazy. It's the Wild Wild West for a reason. Anybody can come out of the West. And for my final 3 teams that I want to talk about is the New Orleans Pelicans, Dallas Mavericks, and Golden State Warriors. Now, if the play-in tournament started today, all of those teams would be in the play-in tournament. Now, for the Pelicans, they lost to Chicago last night, which that was a surprise to me. But what really hurt them down the stretch was free throw shooting. A missed free throw here, a missed free throw there. And the Pelicans, they turned the ball over 18 times last night. That'll also make you lose a game. Now the Dallas Mavericks, they lost. But before they lost that game yesterday to the Pacers, they won 7 straight. But with the Dallas Mavericks, it's about outshooting a team and outscoring a team because the Dallas Mavericks really don't have no defense. They really don't. So Dallas, I see them getting knocked out of the first round because any team they play in the first round, I believe, will be much better than their bench. The Dallas Mavericks bench is one of the worst in the NBA, if not the worst. And you have Luka Doncic and you have Kyrie Irving. But when those two have so much attention on them, who is that third option? Who is going to step up and say, okay, these 2 guys are covered up on the floor, give me the ball, and I'm going to score? Who can do that for the Dallas Mavericks? It remains to be seen. That's all I have for the Dallas Mavericks. The last team I want to talk about is the Golden State Warriors. Now, the Golden State Warriors, they are in the 10th spot right now. They are teetering. They are in the play-in tournament as of right now. But do I think that they will make it to the playoffs, the Golden State Warriors? If they can get better defensive production on the defensive side of the court, yes. If you have Klay Thompson have one of his good shooting performances throughout the last few years in the playoffs, they will be able to get to the playoffs. But if you have something like they had last night versus the Denver Nuggets, they can easily get knocked out of the first round too. So when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, I wouldn't sleep on the Golden State Warriors, even though they are at the 10th spot right now. They are at the 10th spot. But within a week's time, 2 weeks' time, the standings in the Western Conference could just expand. A team can expand their seeding, or if they lose, decrease their seeding in the run of a week. So that is what I see coming out of the NBA, coming out of the Western Conference. That is what I see. And with that, those are my team outlooks for the NBA, for the Western Conference. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Click the notification bell to get notified every time I upload a video. And always remember, the key is always on time.